Yate, hello. Chairman Hurd, Ranking Member. Oops. Sorry. Yate, hello. Chairman Hurd, Ranking Member Ledger Hernandez, members of the subcommittee. I'm Derrick Watchman, member of the Navajo Nation, and I'm also chairman of the board for the National Center for American Indian Enterprise Development, and we're based in Mesa, Arizona. Thank you for inviting us to share our views on this central topic that's so very, very important. Ironically, I testified before this subcommittee 8 years ago on 2 bills to improve several of these programs. Though enacted, some of the improvements still haven't happened, a theme that you'll hear in my testimony today. Since 1969, the National Center has been a driving national force dedicated to American Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian economies and economic development. We advance Native entrepreneurs and businesses through training, programming, business and procurement technical assistance. We work with most tribes and assisted thousands of Native-owned businesses. Last year alone, we served over 3,000 clients who earned over $855 million in contract awards. Next month, we are hosting our 40th annual Reservation Economic Summit, RES for short. At this conference annually, this coming year, we expect 5,000 Native businesses, and this is the largest economic development gathering in Indian country. As we deploy our services to support federal grants and cooperative agreements, we've learned firsthand how to make federal economic development programs work in Indian country. Congress authorized these programs with worthy aspirations, but in many cases, agencies are complicated in their deployment and effectiveness. Federal funding rarely is sufficient in supporting economic growth, and arbitrary cuts have obviously created challenges to tribal programs. However, these programs can be strengthened with legislative fixes and departments fulfilling their statutory requirements. For example, in 2018, I testified for the Indian Economic Enhancement Act of 2020, a catch-all bill with provisions designed to address administrative inertia and strengthen key programs for 4 federal agencies. This included the Office of Native American Business Development, originally codified in 2000, but was never fully established. Even today, this office lies dormant with no director, so legislative changes are needed. Fortunately, Congress work in Indian country policy generally proceeds with bipartisanship, as we talked about earlier. The policies are outlined in my testimony, but I'll talk about a few. The National Center welcomes and would like to work on a new catch-all bill to improve programs, including the First Native Act. We urge the subcommittee to get answers from the Interior about the status of this Native Act and how the grants and cooperative agreements are intended to bolster tourism but are not working. There seems to be a pause on this program. Any Native Act, as we hope will happen, should include making sure that there's specific, robust funding to fund the programs identified in Native Act. Number 2, explicit eligibility requirements on which tribal organizations actually can deploy this program. Like ours, we have a cooperative agreement with the Department of Interior, but the program is on pause. Second, the Indian Incubator Program. We support the continuation and the prompt reauthorization of this program, and obviously bring it up to level funding so that BI can seek additional applicants. This program has been very beneficial in Indian country. Third, we also urge the subcommittee with its oversight to look at these following issues. Seek assurance that the Department of Interior and the Health and Human Services meets and reports on the Buy Indian Act. This act is very, very important. It's important for procurement, and it helps to improve Indian economic development and economic trade. Second, we request that the Department of Interior strengthen the Indian Loan Guarantee Program. As we talked about, this program is very beneficial for access to capital, bringing capital to Indian country. We also recommend that the program hire folks with banking experience at the Department of Interior. This is probably one of the most critical programs that I, for one, think is important. We also, number 3, press Commerce Secretary Lutnick to appoint a qualified Native professional as the director of the Office of Native American Business Development and deploy the $2.3 million that has been identified by the MDA program to this particular office. We also urge we urge the White House Office of Presidential Personnel to nominate, appoint, and hire qualified Native professionals to the long vacant offices and jobs that serve Indian country. That's very, very important. Years ago, I was the appointee to the Department of Energy as a Tribal Affairs Director. That was very meaningful. We urge and we like to see the office get more Natives qualified and working for us in all the federal agencies. Finally, we urge the members of the subcommittee to consider and co-sponsoring two things. One, tomorrow, Representative Sharice David will be submitting a bill to reauthorize the Office of Native American Affairs. That bill will be introduced tomorrow. We urge your support because we do believe that an office is needed in the Small Business Administration. The second is the tribal tax and investment reform legislation to eliminate the essential government function, as Chairman Butler pointed out earlier. This test has been very restrictive in tribes issuing bond authority. Okay, we're going to move it up. We also urge your support on eliminating dual taxation in Indian country. So I thank the committee for focusing and looking at Indian economic development. I've been working on this for many, many years and urge your support so that we can improve Indian economies. So
thank you very much, Mr. Watchman. At this time, the chair recognizes Mr. Harris for 5 minutes. Mr. Harris.